how much force they can withstand, not like how much heat they can withstand or something.
I'm not aware of that. Like you can try to like build a consistency with that, but I'm not aware of that. I'm not gonna check out,
Why do
right?
you think I need to?
I think their ability could be different, but
Why do you? Why do
also
I need to?
just to be clear, wait,
Why do I
sorry.
need to?
Also, just to be clear, sorry.
Why do I
Also,
need
just
to?
to be clear, because you just said that I think when people say durability, it's most commonly referring to this. So
Okay,
if
well,
you're just gonna say I think that,
I'm using it.
but
Sure,
sorry, if you're just gonna say I just think that, then that's fine. You can think it. But I thought you had like a likely argument with it. If you don't have a likely argument, I don't care.
I don't
But
think this.
as for like the other thing you said, sorry. As for like the other thing you said, like I'm not aware of like this being 100 healing tsunade. Can you actually prove it's 100 healing tsunade?
Yeah, she says I'm going to use this mark on my forehead, and then we can write out. You can look at the scans. It says, yeah, reverse seal release, art of mitotic regeneration. When she uses the seal.
Oh, so she teleports and then she says like release the seal, and then after she releases the seal, she goes. So when she says I was going to use it prior, she doesn't mean I'm going to use it to enhance my durability. She means I'm just going to tank it and then heal from it.
No, that's not what it said. She's releasing the jutsu. We see her pop out of the. We see her pop out of the teleportation with it on, and then she releases it, and that's when it fades away. It's not like she tanks it.
So where can I look at the scans?
Well, it's in the VC channel.
Yeah, it's in VC chat.
Yeah, so she pops out of it with the sealing on, and then she releases it after. It's not a case of she takes the damage and then heals from it. She's actively healing and taking the damage with the seal on.
Okay, so this is like the panel after they teleport. Can you show like the prior panel when they just like are attacking? Also, like
These are all.
I don't know how. Sorry, I'm being called. Give me a second.
The panel of them attacking Madara. Sage, do you know what chapter that is?
It should be. I got you.
Yeah. So just to be clear, what I want you to prove is number one, you sound like a scan of tsunade, which I don't think is directly afterwards. So I think that if like it's unclear in the other scan, then you can't possibly make the assertion that she didn't just simply turn it on. I also like made the likely argument that because she restates like total regeneration and she makes the hand seal in order to do the ability, I think it's probably the case that she's using it in that scene. Also in the panel prior where we see them right before they teleport, it makes sense for her to do it like preemptively. She doesn't do it preemptively. She teleports in base, so I don't know. Unless they think she teleported while she was like a talker construct traveling through the air, it's probably the case that she just entered in base.
Your mic quality is really bad, but I think I kind of got the gist.
I can repeat anything wrong, man. So
yeah, I think I kind of got the gist of it. But if you're saying this shit is set up preemptively, what we actually see is she states herself that she's going to do this thing, and then whenever she pops out, we see that she's done this thing. I don't think I need to build a likelihood argument to something we see like demonstrably on panel. She states, "I'm going to."
That's your only response to that one.
I'm just gonna clarify. So she's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna use this." Dude, you wanted the panel of them like with Madara? I'll just drop that, and then we can.
Yeah, I've got it. I can post it in there.
Yeah, we can move on after, but yeah, sure. She states she's going to do this thing, and then we see her popping out and doing this thing, and then the next time we see her, she's releasing this jutsu. So yeah, we can move on, I guess.
Okay, so like, do you want to do like mini conclusions for every single point, and then move on to progressive debate? Just so it's easier for the
I don't think we need to.
I'll just do it because I'm not confident in these judges. I'm not gonna lie. Besides Sage, I think Sage is like I'm not worried about the other two. So I'm gonna go like a mini conclusion. You don't have to if you don't want to.
Dude, this is like a big forfeit.
Before we progress to debate,
dude,
it's gonna take like 30 seconds. Before like we move on, finding like multiple claims, and you said like an interpretation is just like a saying what happened or describing what happened in the panel. Obviously, that's not a response to my response. So I said multiple things to bring up reasonable doubt. I said, number one, if you don't see Tsunade after she initially teleports, then she could have simply turned it on. It's more probable she turned it on because not only does she state it, and people typically say the name of the jutsu while they're doing it, but she also makes the hand signs only after she teleports. Also, I said it would make sense for her to like want to do it preemptively because if they teleport at a random time, she doesn't have it on, and this is a significant error, then she could like potentially take more damage than she intended to. So if she doesn't do it preemptively, she does it afterwards. And when she says, I'm going to use it, I think that she's simply meaning that I'm going to use it in order to heal from the attack, not necessarily use it to increase her durability to tank the attack. So those are all my responses. I don't think I respond to any of them.
Okay, I guess I'll just give a little mini conclusion. So yeah, I think it's pretty simple. We just demonstrably see it on panel. People saying that people using hand signs to like shift things isn't always the case because they can cut away and like if someone says I'm going to use a fireball and then the next time we see them, there's like smoke or whatever, we can obviously infer that they're using a fireball with its signs, but For this, she states she's going to use it. Yeah, she states she's going to use it. Next time we see her, she's used it and she's releasing it. So I think it just definitely makes it more likely. But we can move on to the next part because this is kind of like a long-winded scale.
And just to clarify for me, and I can pause this really quick just to make sure that I'm tracking. Your initial claim, and I paused the timer. Your initial claim was that she's less durable than the Raikage, and you were using this to showcase that, correct?
Yeah, she's like a lot less durable than the base Raikage.
Got you. Okay, that's what I thought, but got a little muddled at the end, so I just wanted to clarify. But all right, I can resume the timer whenever you start speaking.
Okay. I'm sure you're aware he's able to pierce his armor and pierce his skin, and then the lightning cloak just increases his durability.
Yeah, so I'm not like I don't have an issue with like Sasuke's going to Rikage's durability in the sense that he can do like superficial damage. My only issue is like if you want to make any comparison between that and like the Susanoo, it'd only be like within the comparison where he uses the arrow because I think the arrow in itself is like a piercing attack. So it makes sense to compare like a piercing attack to another piercing attack if one just has more force and of course it's gonna have like a greater outcome. But like any other attack, like a punch, it doesn't necessarily have to have the same outcome because it is distribution of force.
Yeah, that's fine. I don't think that matters, but I don't think it's superficial as well. That was kind of like a.
What do you consider like superficial? I think superficial. Like, we can determine superficial by the outcome. The Rikage doesn't actually reveal.
Like if someone threw a fireball at Edo Madara and there's like burns on his skin, but that obviously like if Part 1 Sasuke put a fireball on Edo Madara and there's like little like chalk marks in his skin.
Yeah, sorry, I was talking to my brothers. I couldn't really hear what you said. Can you repeat yourself?
Yeah, superficial by definition is just existing or occurring on the surface. So like say Part 1 Sasuke shot a fireball at Edo Madara, we could see like chalk marks on the skin, but that obviously didn't do any damage.
It's like an arbitrary standard we're appealing to, right? You could say like superficial.
The definition.
The skin. I could tell you. Well, I'm not contending the definition. I can tell you. I'm just contending what is like deemed to be superficial. I could tell you that like piercing the skin, but like not piercing it to a significant degree is like superficial. I already told you how I'm determining that it's superficial. It's by the outcome. The Rikage doesn't seem to be greatly wounded by it. He doesn't show any reaction to it. He doesn't ask C to heal it for him. It doesn't seem to hinder like his combat at all. Later on, it's not even continuously bleeding. So like you could say that it pierced him. I'm not saying it pierced him. I just don't know if that's significant damage. So you can move on.
I understand, but all you're saying is just like, yeah, Rikage's good endurance. He didn't like react to it. He was just able to fight on. But it's obviously not something that like we see on the surface. If like his fingers were like he's at least like deep into his skin on the surface, so it's not like just like a surface level like no attack. He's able to pierce through his cloak, and then he's able to go like a decent fingers deep in his skin. So I think it's just kind of irrelevant, but it's just arguing for Raikage's good endurance, but.
Like he's able to go to the first knuckles. So I guess we can move on with like the third part of your scale. So you want to continue on?
Your mic is really loud. I don't know what you said.
He said, do you just want to move on to the next part of your scale?
Sure. Yeah. I think the Susanoo then is just above. The Susanoo then is just above whatever base Sasuke can like operate at. I think that's just like highlighted out. It's pointed out as being like an awe-inspiring attack, and then what the Obito just states is like super strong, super fast. So yeah, I think this is just like a highlighted thing. It just amps him, or else it would just be kind of like irrelevant.
I'll probably like agree that like it can amp him in the sense that it's like more combatively efficient. Can you send like the super fast, like super strong panel?
Yeah, I sent them both. And then do you agree that the arrow the arrow is like a blitz spear above like the normal Susanoo? Hello?
Nice, I can't read this. Overall, super fast, super strong Susanoo, down to continuing range and augury, but I don't know, like, how this descriptively like indicative of it being above Sasuke's base? There's no point of comparison.
I think there's a point of comparison probably just within itself. So if I perform something at like, I don't know, like 10, if I like run at 10 miles an hour, and then I'm able to like, I don't know, let me think about this in the way it applies. I don't want to get it wrong. Someone's like, you put on these shoes, and this guy's like super strong, super fast now, or he's like a lot faster or whatever. He says like, this guy's super fast now. I think the point of comparisons in itself, you don't need something like, oh, he's super fast
I
compared to
mean,
what
no,
they're
because
saying,
it's
but
like not analogous.
it's
Like it's not analogous because within that analogy, it'd be implicit that if you say somebody's super fast, super strong now, it implies that they're lacking those qualities beforehand. But there's no indicators, like there's no linguistic like terms you could use to indicate that within this like
I
statement.
don't think I don't
So it's
think
not
he needs to
analogous.
say that. I don't think he's saying that he was weak. He was like weak before or anything. He's just saying that this like
No,
this
I'm not implying that. I'm
stronger
just
and a
saying,
lot
based off
faster.
like the analogy you gave, it'd be apparent that they got faster because he's saying they have the quality now that they didn't have beforehand, or at the very least, they have the quality up to this extent currently. But there's no indicator of that within this statement. It just says the thing within itself is super strong and super fast. It doesn't say now Sasuke is super strong or super fast. Or that
Yeah,
Sasuke while using this jutsu is like in comparison
I
to the
don't think
basic.
it. Again, that's the same thing. Like the point of reference just within itself. That's why they gave the analogy.
Yeah, that's that. That's
He
yeah.
runs
No,
10 miles an hour. Wait,
go ahead.
wait. Okay. Say some guy runs 10 miles an hour in like his like school shoes, and then he puts on these like running shoes, and he's like, "Oh, this is like super fast." He's like super fast. I don't think you need a frame of reference because that's just kind of within itself.
Well, I mean, you could say like it's intuitive to believe that somebody with running shoes is going to perform better than somebody's like normal shoes, but that would be probably because like things outside of the statement existing. But if you're just looking at the statement in itself and it's something external to somebody's deed, such as like, for example, if somebody hops on an unknown vehicle, I'm not even going to name the vehicle because it doesn't matter. If somebody hops on an unknown vehicle and then says this vehicle is fast, obviously that statement in itself doesn't indicate whether or not it's faster himself. It just means that it's fast within itself and there's no real point of comparison. And then you saying that I believe that this is true within this analogy. Already, so I don't think the prior analogy tracks on, and then already, so I don't think this analogy tracks on, and you didn't really give any extra like motivation.
For what you said about the car analogy, I think it's just like really dishonest because unless the person's like never actually like rode in a car before, if the person in the analogy never rode a car before, then that would be true. But if they were in a car before and they said, "Oh, this thing's super fast," I think that's I think you agree that's like pretty intuitively meaning that it's faster than the other thing. But for Obito's thing, like can I finish? He sees the entire fight. Danzo's like fighting Sasuke as well. He sees him fighting, and then whenever he pulls out the Susanoo. But yeah, you didn't answer the question before. Do you think that the arrow is like a blitz tier above like the regular Susanoo? I think that's pretty.
I'd like to respond to what you just said right now. So what you just started out with, we can talk about it later. So what you just said right now is that like basically because he only says this, like you kind of adapted it. Before you were like defending the analogy, so like oh it's like only intuitive, so like and now you kind of like changed it. We're no longer saying this is implied by virtue of the we're no longer saying this is implied by virtue of the fact that he says it's super strong or super fast within itself. We're saying that it's implied by virtue of the fact that he says it's super strong or super fast at this point chronologically within the fight, rather than like making this distinction prior. Because he said if somebody says like, oh, this is super strong, super fast, and he says that currently, and Sasuke undergoes some change, then it's probable that change is like indicative or warrants that quality, and like whatever Sasuke did prior did not warrant that quality. And obviously, it doesn't follow because you have to prove that Obito's willing to describe everything he sees within a fight, rather than him simply adding these qualities to Susanoo in a context where it's already narratively relevant to comment on the Susanoo.
Yeah, I don't. I think the last point's pretty relevant because if it's not already, even if it's narratively like relevant to comment on the Susanoo, no, that would still not. That's not like me excusing my point. That's still like encompassing in it. But what you said about the analogy, okay, I didn't cut you off. Yeah, I didn't, dude. I didn't cut you off. I didn't cut you off. For what you said about the analogy, I like I don't know what you're speaking about. Like I defended the analogy right before you gave your response, but for why I brought up the Danzo thing, I still think that statement's like it's like self-indulgent or whatever the word is. I brought up the Danzo thing because you're like, oh, we need these like sort of like they say we would need these some sort of like outside phenomena or like stimuli to like justify this thing. That's why the Danzo thing is brought in. I think it's just like more consistency. But if you think I'm repeating myself or anything, we can like move on, I guess.
Sorry. So I think that like the reason why it's probable that you have to like, or sorry, the reason why it's probable that Obito would comment on the Susanoo in this instance and not necessarily in a prior instance is because he's like making a comment, and I think the description of the Susanoo is like relevant to the comment. But he's making a comment currently on the current state of the battle because of the fact that Danzo is like currently losing. Sasuke is pressing with the Susanoo, and Danzo has to keep on burning through Izanagi's. Obviously, this isn't true all throughout the fight. It's not necessarily true that it would always be pressing Danzo all throughout the fight. So So like at this point of the fight where Sasuke is continuously pressing Danzo, and Danzo is continuously running out of Izanagi's, it makes sense to describe the methodology Sasuke is using to press Danzo with, and then him adding the qualities of it being super strong or super fast. It does make sense for him to comment it in this instance, not necessarily in a prior instance or a later instance, but Sasuke is just using his normal like physicals against any random person. So I don't think that's warranted to assume that he would make the same comment in any other context. So I think the lack of a context, or sorry, the lack of a comment isn't an indicator. And I feel like
That's
what you
not what I was arguing for, but
By the way, really
sorry,
quick,
what?
guys, I paused it, but just so you guys know, I'm sharing my screen for the timer on Discord because it's being wonky on the stream, so you guys can see how much time is left. It's just under 5 minutes.
wait, Sage, what chapter is Adonzo 5?
It's gonna be, I believe it concludes like right at 583.
When
That's
does it
when
start,
that's when like Kakashi arrives. Like 570s.
No. The fives went.
Oh no
after
no no
the
four
main.
four yeah sorry 483 is where it concludes. The 470s is about where it starts. Here I've got this.
470s?
So 475 is when he's fighting the Anbu members. So their fight starts in 476.
Kakashi intervenes at 483. Yeah.
Yep. So 476 to 483 is this fight.
476? Okay.
Yep.
Do you know when the statement is made?
Which statement are you talking about?
The one of it's like awe-inspiring.
Oh, it's in scans.
Yeah. But when when
Oh,
does it
you need the
happen?
context prior.
No. This is yeah, no, I got it. So yeah, Azikar, I think your point just kind of like gets defeated by the actual like chronological events. Like whenever you speak, like I know from like priors as well, that like you speak very vacuously, like this could be possible or whatever. But like what we actually see is this is like his first engagement with the Susanoo itself. This isn't like to do with like priors that he has with Sasuke and stuff.
Can you repeat that?
So there's under 5 minutes, so I'd like to kind of speed this up. So
No, I understand. It's just you were muffled when you spoke there, or maybe it's just my Wi-Fi, but I couldn't hear you. It's just off serious.
Sure. Yeah, I think you're just speaking like really vacuously. Like this would be the case if this thing. But what we actually see for the case of this is like his first engagement with the Susanoo. It's in 477. You can go to the chapter. This is his like first engagement with the Susanoo. So I think whenever you speak like vacuously with like context, you would be right. But then whenever we actually look at it, his priors don't actually mean anything for what you're saying. Yeah, I'd like to progress it more. So
You're referencing like the Donzo panel when you say this is his first like engagement with the Susanoo, right?
yeah, that's what you were saying about his like
when I
priors.
started like the chronological argument like was in index into like the Obito statement. As for like the Donzo statement, I haven't gone around to respond to that yet. I wanted to respond to the Obito statement first. Like for the Donzo statement, him saying the attack strength is awe inspiring. Again, I don't know like what like interactions or like you know whenever like Donzo is already interacting with base Sasuke up to this point, you could like show any like interactions you think would be indicative of Donzo having a gauge of base Sasuke strength. But again, I don't think it's like a point of comparison. Obviously, if Donzo does have a good gauge of Sasuke's strength and he doesn't make a comment such as it's awe-inspiring, I do think that would be indicative of Sasuke having better strength.
I mean, he was present during the Kage summit, so I think
you show that.
you probably have a decent one. He's present during the Kage summit. He probably knows how strong the Kage are. He's present during this. What'd you say?
Is he watching the fight? Doesn't he run away?
I don't think he runs away until after like the pillars and stuff.
But prior
I don't really want to get hung. I don't really want to get hung over
it.
this like one point until I like.
I mean, we could drop the statement. I think that's something that's necessary for you to prove the statement. If he's just saying it's awe-inspiring, but he doesn't know how strong base Sasuke is, and obviously it's not indicative of it being above base Sasuke. It has a standalone strength is awe-inspiring.
Yeah, sure. He's prior to Sasuke reacting to him grabbing. Okay, he's prior to Sasuke reacting to him grabbing. So yeah, we can move on now, so I can actually connect this. So.
Oh wait, but this is only with the Susanoo. I asked for like base Sasuke.
I don't think that would like be relevant, but
it's relevant because if it's not base Sasuke, the comparison wouldn't be it's awe-inspiring now in comparison to base Sasuke, who already know like how fast and strong he is, and that wasn't awe-inspiring. Obviously, it would just be as a standalone saying the Susanoo is awe-inspiring.
Okay, I already said this is like a whole like narrative encompassing thing instead of
like the narratives are contestable. The narrative, like
yeah,
the narrative
I know you contest. Okay, I know you can test this. This is like the
I'm
encompassing
sorry. Can
thing.
you
Like,
connect it to tsunade though? Like
holy lord! Like, can you let me speak?
you said, you don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, I'm gonna say this thing because like I think it's kind of got muddled, but the Donzo thing was brought up to the for like the response to your analogy saying that this would need like friars in the monk or whatever, but we can move on.
Yeah, you've got less than a
Uh,
minute left on the timer. I'll give like for both of you, if it runs like this, like I did last time, I'll give you a little bit extra time, but we got to try to speed through this.
yeah, of course. Yeah, would you agree he's able to beat the Raikage in this distance?
What instance? I'm not looking at it. What? Show me.
You know the elbow vault. When he does the elbow vault, Sasuke dodges it, hits
Yeah,
him
I
with
don't
sword.
think that's out speed. No,
Well, I think it's blatantly an outspeed. They were trying to clash with each
he
other,
sucked his
and
guard.
okay, holy lord. They try to dash. They're dashing at each other. The Raikage is trying to hit him. By the time Sasuke is able to duck under him and throw his Chidori, like the Raikage is not able to react. So I don't know what you mean by drop his guard. He was able to slip his guard. It's not like he dropped his guard. He was in the middle of fighting him.
Yes,
He
I
just
never said that. So,
holy
so I
lord.
did say.
Yeah, he's able to go on. He's able to slip under his guard and attack him by the time the Raikage is like done his attack. So I think he's able to perform like more movements in the time the Raikage is, and the Raikage is not able to like react to him. So
Okay, so that's not what I said. So what I did say is that he ducked his guard. So like, slip and duck are like synonyms, right? Or I guess they're synonyms in this case because they mean the same thing. But
sure, he's able to duck his guard.
yeah. So like the reason why it does matter, like it being him ducking his guard and not being an outspeed matters, is because people operate with like their physical force and momentum. If somebody is going towards like a certain like direction and they have to like do like a completely different maneuver in order to escape somebody else's like attack, and the other person needs to do like much more simpler maneuvers, and they like only need to travel a shorter distance in order to attack them. And of course, in not indicative of him scaling above X character. We see some boxing all the time, people slipping jabs and then going for counter punches. The reason why counter punches are so effective. So I don't think that the movements Chicago would need to make in order to get out of this attack is equivalent to movements Sasuke needs to make in order to land the attack. I also don't think that even if that were true and the movements were equivalent, I still think Chicago would be being carried through with his momentum. So you still have to finish. You still have to exert energy in order to stop the velocity of his prior movement. So I don't think it's indicative of outspeed at all.
Holy ramble, but sure. What were you saying about counter punches? You can
I'm
still
gonna give you 45 more seconds, brother.
Holy lord. Yeah, you can counter punches, whatever. By the look of his elbow, he could have literally just put his arm down to grab Sasuke. Could he swung his other arm with that like supposed momentum that he can't stop? Swung his other arm using the force of that momentum, right, and grabbed Sasuke. Could have moved his body in any sort of instance, dodged to the side or something. Used that momentum to dodge to the side. But yeah,
So
I think it's just a blatant outspeed. But I really want to connect this. So.
So you saying like he could have done all these things don't like actually tell me that these things don't necessarily actually mean that he's still being hindered by the momentum he's carrying, and it doesn't actually tell me these movements are equal to the movements Asuka would have to make. As for like the other arm thing, like other arm not being carried by momentum, I'm not aware of that. I think that if you're charging towards something, your arm would still be like subject to the wind pressure and the velocity of your general movement because your entire body experiences the force that you travel with. It's like inertia 101. So I don't think that like his arm isn't experiencing any momentum. So I do think he would have to still like. Obviously, his arm is also like very far away, so I don't think his other arm is like a actually valid force. And as for like the countering the counter punches, again, like it's possible you can counter a counter punch. I just think it's harder to do than just counter punch.
Okay, and none of what you said is relevant to what I said, but I'll just connect it really quick before we stop. I don't know. I didn't mean that one, but yeah, he asserts himself faster than Tsunade, whatever. I think it just more generally puts.
Do you ever see Tsunade fight?
I think it's more likely, or else he would not be able to make the same. But that's just to wrap it all up. I think it's more likely that.
I mean, no, he can go off like we know like a common thing in the Naruto verse is people going off like the lore and other things like assert things in like the verse. Like this is what people do with the third Hokage all the time. Kabuto states like we knew it would be a tough challenge with his reputation as the strongest of the five principal Kages. So of course, like you can actually use somebody's like reputation as a gauge or like basis to make statements. I don't think he has to have a good or accurate basis in order to make a statement. I don't think it's implicative because he made a statement.
Okay. All this is just engaging with your beliefs. You're like, oh, I don't believe he needs to do this thing. But whatever. Whenever Kabuto states this, he's like, oh, by this.
Just no.
Yeah. Like, if only you would let me speak, this would be fun. But whenever he actually states these things, he's like, "Oh, by their reputation." So they gave like an indicator whenever they're speaking out of reputation. I think this is probably just like a Chekhov's gun type thing. He's trying to assert this thing. I think that's just like more coinciding with his narrative. He just gave like a kind of own defeater where whenever they talk about reputation, like
I
their
don't think,
reputation. Yeah, I
so
think
I don't think it's like likelihood increasing that because somebody has like certain like linguistic tellers or like maybe some like sort of like preferences to say one thing in a certain way that it's going to pass on to everybody because obviously everybody has different speech patterns. Somebody can
that's
like
the
be
only
more
example
blunt
he
in the
gave.
way they speak. They don't necessarily. Sorry, people can have
Okay.
different speech patterns. People can be more blunt in how they speak. People can be more poetic. So this can all influence whether or not they're actually going to say like, oh, this is based off of rumors or like this is just what I believe to be true. I'm not going to justify why I believe it to be true. So he also doesn't state that this is based off of feats either. Like he just says like I think I'm the fastest. He doesn't say whether or not I saw her fight. I think I'm the fastest. So I don't think it's necessary for them to say that this is based off of rumors. The same way that you don't think it's necessary for them to say that this is based off of like speed or anything else. And even without the Kabuto example, my response would still stand alone.
Okay, I'm gonna give a quick response because like this like rambling did like it's like rambling to like run out of time is like really stupid. But
Yeah, we're almost to 25 minutes on this, so I'm gonna
yeah,
give you like one more
I'm just gonna
minute
give
to
like one
tie
more
all this
response.
together and finish it, and then I'll let Z Killer respond, and then we got to move on to his. But I'm trying to give grace because I know you're like at the end of this scaling, Chase.
Yeah. Yeah, whatever you're saying, like people have like different linguistic patterns. Like I don't think that's like necessarily relevant to like anything you're saying. Like people can like say, "Oh, I believe this thing to be true," or they can just say this thing is true. I think it's just kind of like redundant to like whoever's like reading the story. If they're like asserting these things, they're giving like falsehoods or whatever to the characters. I think it's just kind of like redundant. This could be true in real life. Like I don't really care about Naruto whenever things are like kind of not supposed to be ambiguous in like terms of character statements. As I like said before, I don't think this is like needed as priors. You said this doesn't need to track on everyone. You only gave the example of Kabuto, which has this indicator present. So, sure. Do you want to move on to your scaling, or did you respond, or what?
I think it's responsive what you said. So like again, like the Kabuto thing, as I said, like what I say is that this doesn't. I don't need the Kabuto example. It still be sufficient to respond because like the factors I appeal to in order for this to be true, you didn't counteract. So, like the factors of people having more blunt speech or different speech patterns, you didn't counteract. You made another argument, which is that it's more likely it's going to be true because it's redundant for the readers to read something that's like a falsehood within the verse and article. But I don't think that's true. And it wouldn't be redundant. You'd more so be saying that it's not informative. I don't think every single statement has to be informative of a truth value, like towards like the actual universal truth. It could be informative to like a person's own beliefs, which builds characterization. But I don't think that it's like unnecessary, and I don't think that it has like accomplishes nothing. Now, it accomplishes like characterize their target as like a prideful person. So that's probably
that's fine. I don't think a single thing said respond. Sure. I don't think you responded to a single thing.
Never responsive. Okay,
Cool.
sorry.
All right, so we're moving on to Z Killer.
Yes, sir.
All right, cool. Whenever you start, I'll start the timer.
Give me like a few seconds because I'm walking into my house. Give me like a few seconds.
You good?
Literally like 40 seconds.
Don't say that, bro. I have a timer right in front of me.
Yeah, but don't do that.
Chat, how we feeling? I feel like this has gone well.
The event?
Yeah, I'm really excited to get into these first couple rounds are going to be fun, but I think once we get into the deeper rounds as well, it's gonna be pretty sweet because there will be a greater time limit, so you won't have to be as constrained, so it's yeah, it's gonna be fun.
I'm gonna swap from my phone to my laptop. It'll only be like a few seconds.
You're good, bro. Lucariel2532 is my audio bad? I'm using just like my regular headphones. It didn't set my mic up, so maybe that's why. If it's theirs, okay, I thought so. If it's theirs, it could just be a volume thing. Because I have it like to where it's as loud as it can be, and for whatever reason, Streamlabs is. Oh, I appreciate you, bro.
I think he's probably talking about Z Killer because like I didn't really understand most of what he said, but I got the general gist.
Yeah. So Malevolent Sponge said, "Are you gonna do more debate tournaments in the future?" Yeah. So with this, basically the structure of this is we're doing like each round. So like we started with 16 contestants, so we're gonna have 4 rounds. So each round is gonna be each successive weekend throughout January, and then basically once we get done with this, we're gonna have a losers bracket so we can decide seeding. So then all of the contestants from this time, if they want to return for the next one, which I want to do this like biannually probably. Um, so if they want to return next time, then they'll maintain their seed, except if you're in the bottom 8, um, I'll do it sort of like, or no, bottom 4, I should say. We'll do it like the NBA does, like the play-in tournament, where the bottom few seeds have to kind of like fight for their right to be in the tournament again. Um, so that's going to be fun. So we'll have like, if anybody else wants to get in the tournament and they weren't in it this time, then they'll be able to debate the people who are the lower seeds. But yeah, this is something I want to continue doing. I honestly didn't know how well this was going to go. So I was like, well, if it goes well, I'll do it again. If it doesn't go well, then, screw it. But it seems to have gone pretty well so far, so I can't complain.
How many people on live?
It peaked at like 63. It's at 48 right now. But keep in mind, we have, how many people do we have here in the fucking stream? Yeah, so we've got 2, 4, so we got 8 people in here. I don't know how many people in here are actually on the YouTube stream. So, probably just over 50 total watching it. SB said Sage got ball knowledge. Of course, bro. All right, are you ready?
Yeah, sure. I'm ready. Are you ready?
Yep.
All right. So the feat that I'm gonna be using to scale tsunade is just her blitzing Madara. Are you aware of the feat? Do you want to like any contentions? You want me to send it?
I'm not aware of her blitzing him. I'm aware of her tagging him.
Oh, like as long as you agree it's like a clean tag and she like started off like not in his face, then I'm fine with saying that too. Yeah, we can describe it as that too.
I don't know how to describe it, and you can send it, but
I'll send it. Don't worry. Okay, it's like there's like the scan. There you go.
a second. Yeah, can you? Apart from that scan, can you send like prior to that?
Give me a second. Let me like try to.
What chapter is this? Sage, what chapter is it?
This fight is super tricky because it's scattered all over the place.
I think
I can
I'm
track
find
it down
relatively quickly.
I think it's like 540. No, it's like 550.
Nope.
562, 562 maybe.
I think it's like,
No,
570.
yeah, this is like in the
562.
570s, I think.
Oh my lord! They like it's like
Yeah, because they cut back and forth. Yeah, they cut back and forth between.
All right,
this fight.
I found the chapter. Yeah, it's 570. It's 577, and
Cool.
here's like the prior panel. Like this is like the panel before that panel. It's like we see them, they're talking to each other. We see where they're standing in respective to Madara. Madara's looking at them. Then the next page, Tsunade punches him. Madara gets punched in half. Just the next page. So, any responses?
I don't know if this is like necessarily like a what's it called? I don't know if this is like necessarily a like direct like chronological thing because we get talking in between, and then all we see is movement. So if you could have like they could have been like doing the same plan as before, the Raikage could have like came up and pushed him or whatever. Like we don't know. The chronological orders are kind of cooked.
I mean, so we actually like do have like quite a good gauge of what actually happened. So we see like Tsunade is the closest to him. The Raikage is not even standing nearby him. The Raikage couldn't have helped in that like aspect. The Mizukage like specifically uses like water style and lava style. There's no lava or water like around her. They couldn't have used anything to help. As for like Jinton, like as well, Jinton causes environmental destruction. Like there's nothing environmentally destructed around Madara. Couldn't have helped. I think that like all the indicators that you would expect from like if all these people actually helped aren't present, it's most probable that Tsunade just tagged Madara. I agree there is some dialogue, but I
wouldn't agree to this. I wouldn't agree to this for multiple reasons. So, we actually see them in different positions, and you saying like destructive things, I don't think that's like a necessary thing. Like, the Gara could have sound before. Like, we don't actually see like any of the battle apart from just the zoom in on Madara. So, I don't think you can justify that like the scenery around them is like exactly the same or anything like that. But yeah, we see the Raikage is like directly like floating in the air. Mei's in a different position, and Gara already has sand. So
Okay, so I never said it's necessary. I just say it's expected. As for like the
I think it's
as for like
expected.
as for them standing, I explained why. As for like them standing around, like again, I didn't say they didn't move at all. I just said like they're not close. Like Tsunade is
Yeah.
close.
So
Physical fighter, like I understand if you want to say at least Anoki helped. That give me a second.
okay.
Being cold with my sister.
For what I'll say to this is that
I'm being
loads
cold
of
with
them like back off and like hop in at
I'm being
different
cold
points
on
of the
my
fight.
sister. I can't hear you.
Can you not hear me?
You
Let
not
me know
hear
when
him?
you can hear me. I'll respond.
Here, I'll pause this. Can you not hear him, Z-Killer? Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Oh,
I don't
he's
know.
he's deafened right now. We'll give him a second. This will actually give me time to put the scan on screen.
Okay,
That
I'm back. I'm back. I'm back. I'm back. Okay, sorry.
Can you hear me?
Okay. What are you saying,
Yeah.
Calamity?
Saying it's expected is like kind of basically the same as saying necessary, kind of. It's just kind of
Nope.
like flurry language for the same thing, but I don't
No,
remember
they're
you saying it.
definitely different.
Okay, I already, for your evidence, I think that you're trying to justify for it to be expected. I think I probably respond to that. So,
Okay.
I think you would agree. Like at different points in the fight, they're like hopping in and out, or they're like kind of standing back at different points. So, saying that they're not close to him isn't all like actually defeated because like at different points of the fight, they're like sitting, like talking to Madara, or talking amongst each other or whatever. So,
I mean, I don't know. Like at different points of the fight, they're talking to Madara, but it's not necessarily true that at different points of the fight, they're all helping and attacking Madara.
Yeah,
There's
I
those
want to
points of the
get a
fight where
response.
Tsunade stands back and she heals people, and there's other points of the fight where like Anoki goes in, the Rikage goes in. So like, yeah, it's true. There's different points of the fight where the Tsunade is not standing close to Madara, but we wouldn't assert that Tsunade is helping and attacking Madara in those instances because she's a physical fighter and she's nowhere near Madara.
Okay,
And then
but that's
even if it were true, wait, sorry, let me
word.
add like another claim onto it.
I
Even
need
if
to
it were
respond.
true, sorry, go ahead.
In the middle of a response, you just cut me off. Sure. Um, Even if you agreed that they're standing back at different points in the fight, these people could have like hopped in, did whatever, like pushed Madara back and then ran back or whatever. Her jump at him and tag him. We don't know if you agree that they're tagging in at different points. They could have tagged in, pushed Madara towards him and then her tag him. We get like a basically like the same instance with Tsunade jumping at Madara and she just fucking she gets like outsped by the Susanoo. So I think I probably
Yeah,
just
sorry. So, like, yeah, that's like another
and
point. Like, we'll
wait,
talk
can I
about that
please
later.
respond? Can I,
Prior, what you just said,
dude?
you
Like
just
I'm
made
not
another
even done.
point.
I'm not even
Sorry,
done.
you just made another point. Go ahead.
No, I'm
Sorry.
trying to. Evan, no, I'm sending the scan. I'm going to argue off the scan as well. Stated slower than the Raikage as well, and then
Wait, stop. Wait, stop. That's another point. That's another point. Okay, so like, as for what
that's
you just said right now, like, um,
Lord.
sorry, as what you just said right now, like it is expected like the Rikage as a physical fighter would be like close if he's engaging in physicality. Him jumping there and then jumping back isn't something that's expected because as we see all throughout the fight, when the Rikage goes to attack Madara personally, physically, he goes, attacks him, and then follows up, or he just stands next to like Tsunade standing posted. He never like retreats back in fear of like a Madara attack. He's pretty confident in his speed. He can react to everything, or at the very least, that's what he seems to think. So again, like I don't accept that interpretation. As for like the other thing you said, like again, I think it's possible. I don't think it's expected. There's a substantial difference between like expected and like necessary. Um, so I think that what I already said like kind of stands. And then
Okay.
as for like moderate, sorry, and then as for like Madara saying that Tsunade is like slower, or, like other instances where Tsunade might jump at Madara and like him putting up like the rib cage, I think this is like also indicative of the fact that she probably blitzed him at other panel because he couldn't put up the rib cage. That's just like another point. Like I don't think she has to be using the same speed here. Like I don't think Tsunade has to be operating at like a certain level of speed all the time. It's not like she has a chakra cloak, so I don't think she has to be using the same speed here.
Okay. For what I'm saying, for this one, saying that he like he can attack or like run like go back to Tsunade's side or whatever. He could have attacked him and Anoki. Could have went and attacked and like pushed Madara towards her, and then he went back to Tsunade's side and Tsunade jump at him, or they could have confined him or something with sand or whatever. These people are not in the same positions as from the panel before. I think you obviously, I'm pretty sure you agreed to that, but yeah,
I also responded like there,
yeah,
he
no, I
doesn't
know.
have one. He's not limited to one form of reaction, right? He has the Rinnegan abilities, and then he also has the Susanoo. So the fact that he doesn't do any defenses means that even if you were pushed towards Tsunade, like as long as he doesn't put any defensive, it will still imply that Tsunade blitzed him.
Okay, we can get into that, but I just want to like talk about the Raikage stuff. For this, her like operating at one's like set speed. I think that she would probably get weaker like because I'm sure you would like argue that the 100 healings is like some sort of wait. Is this just a yes or no question? I don't want like a ramble. Do you think the 100 healings is like a general stats boost? It's yes or no?
Not inherently, no.
What do you mean not inherently? Do you think it amps her speed?
I think it just gives you access to more chakra.
Yeah, and then do you think that she can use the chakra to make her faster?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. So I think if she's trying to rush it Madara to attack him, she would probably be like using the same chakra. And I think in other instances, later on in the fight, she would be getting weaker and weaker because that chakra.
Yo, give me a second.
Okay.
Sorry, go
You
ahead.
got the general just anyway, but
Sorry, like my brother is knocking on my door. I
what's
didn't
the
hear
other
you.
in response to you?
Continue.
I paused it.
I
You're good.
already gave my response to that, but I'll talk about the thing that I
No,
said.
you're in the middle of saying something.
No, that was the end of the sentence.
Okay, so like everything that I heard up until like my brother started knocking is the fact like if she's like attacking Madara throughout the fight with like my started regeneration activated, that she would probably be using the same stats. I think that's like insufficient in so far as like what you said doesn't actually follow with the conclusion. It's not sequitur. I think I understand the underlying implications is that she's in a fight, she's engaged in combat, she has incentives, yada yada yada. But I would just like counteract that by saying like people typically want to pace themselves in a fight, especially if they already expect the fight to be long and drawn out. And then if you also said like the other Kage helped in making this moment specifically opportune by hitting like Madara towards Tsunade, then it would make sense for her to want to expend more energy to like capitalize upon an opportune moment. So like we have more reasons to believe that Tsunade would want to use more strength in this panel than other instances. And like the other Kage, I already like incorporated them helping Tsunade into my interpretation and still not like contradicting the fact she blitzed Madara. And then we can move on. Go ahead.
Sage, you have the statement. I think you probably told around. I was gonna go back to it, but yeah. I was gonna talk about Madara like holding back or like not like dropping his guard or whatever versus the Kage. Are you aware of the statement like whenever he says he's gonna go like full power?
I'm aware of the statement where he says, "I'll." Are you talking about when he used the perfect Susanoo?
Yeah, I don't know where that is though, because this fucking fight is so annoying.
I'm aware of it. Like he used the perfect Susanoo. He said something along the lines like, "I'll show you."
Yeah,
Yeah, it's 589.
Yeah.
Go
Do
ahead.
you guys want me to grab it?
This is where the Verakage. Yeah, so I think
Go
it's
ahead.
probably leads in that he could have just been dropping his guard the entire fight. I'm sure you're probably aware, unless you think Tsunade is scaling to like KCM2. I think that's pretty disingenuous to say. She's scaling to like KCM2 and people of those sorts.
Okay,
Wait,
so like him dropping like it would be expected that if he dropped his guard throughout the entire fight, and like this isn't like a one-off instance where Tsunade just used more power, then we would see more instances of like this being the case. But in fact, we see the opposite. In every single other instance where the Rikage gets hit by anybody, he puts up every single defense, or he uses like an ability to get out of the way. The Rikage he
do you think
blocks.
that's necessary?
For the Rikage he blocks, it just shows like it's not maybe not necessary in the sense that he could use the perfect Susanoo and just bitch slap them all at the same time. But like it's probably what Madara is more comfortable with because he doesn't want to just get caught off guard by a really strong attack. Even if he does want to enjoy the fight and hold back, he doesn't want to also get caught off guard and get like one shot by a really strong attack and then sealed really quick. So he would still like throughout the entire fight he shows like reactions and he shows like defenses and he's pretty uncomfortable with just like tanking hits outright. There's like one of the only very few hits that he actually took outright in the series. I don't remember any other instance of this being the case in the fight.
Okay. So for what you said, you agreeing it's not necessary still like provides like a possibility for me to like argue this like
okay.
saying there's like priors of him like blocking or whatever. I think that's fine. That's still not like a necessary thing, but I'll also say to this, where is it? Are you aware of the statement where like she says that she gets like the wall of fire amp?
Wait, sorry. Wait, I don't want to like move on to another.
I know what you're referencing.
Because you also said like
I don't
something
think what
else.
you said like
Let me
actually
just respond.
responded.
No, but there's another thing that you said that I didn't respond to, which I thought we were just gonna like.
Oh, what was it?
So another thing you said is that like we see throughout the fight or whatever, like he said something like it'd be like pretty disingenuous to assume that Tsunade scales like Madara because Madara is KCM2 level and I don't think that this is like Tsunade necessarily being KCM2 level like as a whole collective or like holistically. If she's just using a lot of chakra, then it's not like she can box with KCM2 level characters for an extended period of time.
That wasn't like an actual like solid point, but
she's okay. Sorry, go ahead. Make whatever.
Yeah, that wasn't like an actual thing, but
Sorry.
I think the only thing that I need to respond to before going on to the Tsunade Am point is that she could be using Ample Chakra to like get on this, whatever it's called, this like ample opportunity. I don't see a difference between Tsunade like right there in the panel that I sent compared to what you sent. She's trying to leap at him, trying to destroy Susanoo or whatever. I don't like necessarily see a difference between this. Like they're both trying to like achieve the same goal or whatever. But we can get into the Tsunade stuff.
And like
Being,
them trying to achieve the same goal doesn't mean that it's like opportunistically equal in the sense like the goal is more likely to be accomplished in one
do
scene
you think
than
that
the other.
matters? Why do you think that matters?
Because I think that like if you want to like beat somebody and you know that you're operating on limited strength and stamina, then you're more likely to expend more strength and stamina when that like strength and stamina is
Yeah,
more
that's what I'm
likely to be more
questioning.
effective throughout the conclusion.
That's what
Because
I'm
like if they
questioning. You're
because
just saying
the general thesis is that Tsunade wants to win the fight, and then like by winning the fight she's going to utilize these abilities. If you want to utilize these abilities to win the fight, then it makes sense to want to use these abilities to be effective.
This is
You want to
circular. I
utilize
asked
these
why.
abilities.
Like
This is
I
not
don't know
circular.
if you're like not
It's the
understanding, but
separate.
I'm asking you why, and you're just repeating yourself.
Okay, sorry. Does it not follow, right, that an effective ability is more likely to win in a fight than an ineffective ability?
I don't see how it's relevant.
It's kind of embedded into like the.
I don't see how this is relevant.
Okay. Is it more effective, right, to capitalize upon somebody when their defenses are down versus when their defenses are up? Yes or no?
I don't see a difference in like power output.
That doesn't matter. I'm asking about incentives. Is it
Okay, I just
more
don't
like
think this is relevant.
opportunistically effective? You don't have to see a difference in power output. Like
Yeah, I
the
don't
argument
think, and
follows
okay, I don't
on
need
the
to
conclusion.
respond to your questions if they're not like relevant. Stuff.
Okay, well, I'm just gonna make an analogy. I'm gonna make like a syllogism because you don't want to respond. You want to be cooperative. Okay, so
No,
basically,
because like what you're saying is
the
just not
idea is
relevant.
that so basically, the idea is that like people have incentives to win fights. If it's more like effective, and obviously they win fights by being effective. You don't win fights by being ineffective. Or I guess you can. It's possible, but it's more in line with winning a fight if you're being effective. So if people are being effective, then that also like entails that people would want to like hit people with attacks that are actually going to land, or actually going to deal damage, or actually going to like be effective in the fight. And I think that the probability of landing an attack that's going to land and like have all those qualities and properties of winning a fight is when they're going to be off guard, or when they're going to be in a disadvantageous situation and wanting to capitalize on that. We also see this in like other instances. For example, Naruto waits until. Sorry, no.
Pain. You're talking about Pain and Naruto.
Yeah, basically, like, I think you're aware of like the instance where like Naruto's waiting for Pain to be separated so he can like teleport one of them to like the belly of the beast and then like attack him there. And like we also have the Jiraiya thing where he waits for them to be separated so he can engage in physical combat and like take one of them out. So like we see these instances where people like hold abilities specifically for when they're going to be effective, and like they single out people so their attacks can be more effective. And I think this is just an extension of that. Go ahead.
Okay. I think holding abilities and like holding like an ability specifically and the stats is just kind of different. What you just said is like she would want to because she would want to. No, what you actually said is like all of it is just like completely circular, but
Right,
you never actually you never actually justify the difference where he's leaping towards him to attack him. Would be in terms of two separate things, but you never actually responded. You said, "Oh, it's because it's more efficient. That means it's because of X then Y." And then I asked you why X, and you're just like, "Oh, because of X."
I elaborated. You said why X. You said why is it more efficient? I said because his guard is down, and then the other instance where she's leaping at him, his guard is specifically up. So
okay. Even then, I would just say that she would probably want to put more power into it because her defenses, if defenses are up, she'd want to break it. Even if she would probably use less power because her defenses are not up. But wait,
that's just that doesn't make it more opportune. So you could say she would want to expend energy in order to break it, but I could also say that she would want to expend energy in order to make Madara actually like stop walking around, etc., etc. Even I just want to clarify. Wait, I want to clarify. Even if like we go equal interp on like whether or not these two like the differences between these. Sorry, even if you want to go like equal interp, you're trying to point out inconsistency. If I can incorporate all the information you want into my hypothesis, then it would just be mine more likely because I'm not causing any inconsistency. Like I'm taking everything you're doing and we're going equal interp, but like you're trying to draw an inconsistency with prior showings, and I'm not assuming that.
Yeah, I'm not assuming any of that, but yeah, how many times?
Sorry, what?
Say that again?
I'm asking Sage how much time's left.
So because I ended up giving you 25 minutes, I'm going to give him 25 as well. So he's got 9 minutes left.
Sure. No, we can go into mental nerves now. I mean, mental amps, yeah. I sent the scans for being mental here. There's the heroes in one. I'm sure you're aware of like the wall of fire pumping you.
Sorry, I was talking to my brother. I heard what you said about the will of fire amping you. What is that? What is that based off of? Go ahead.
She ate her cheese, getting the well of fire, and then we know what the well of fire just empty.
No, I don't disagree with her saying she has the will of fire, but can you show the will of fire amping you?
Pumping you?
Yeah. Or could you just
Yeah.
describe what the will of fire is just to begin with? What is it?
You want me to wait? You're asking me to describe the well of fire?
Describe it for one, and then like justify it amping you.
Sure. The will of fire is just whenever you gain the will to like protect your village or like your friends, or whatever. And then in accordance to that, it makes you like
Do
stronger.
we actually know that's the will of fire? Like, is
She
it ever
takes the will
stated
of
this
fire.
is what the will of fire is?
I think we can definitely draw a conclusion towards that. With Hiruzen stating that true strength is defending your village, and then he also says that is also what the will of fire is.
True strength arises not from Hon Ninjutsu. I thought I had you in this. True strength and defending those precious to him or her. Let me spare.
Yeah.
Better intent. I don't know.
then-
Where does he say this is what the will of fire is? Sorry.
The panel later. This is really
Can you
dishonest,
show
but
it later?
I sent it. This is so dishonest.
Burning,
but-
so long as somebody bears the will of fire, each and every one of them in the village is defending. Sorry. So long as you bear this the will of fire, each and every one of those who live in the village are family. So the will of fire is like indexed towards like viewing everybody in the village as their family. It's never indexed towards like.
Yeah, and then so the will of fire is you viewing everyone as your family, and then getting stronger. You get stronger to protect all of your family. The will of fire is just like defending everyone in your village. And
I
then
don't know.
defending
The
everyone in
latter
your
half, I
family
don't
makes
think
you
is like
stronger.
interpreted off of this panel. I don't know where you're using to interpret the latter half.
Okay, it's pretty simple. So X does this thing, and then based off, it's just if X then Y, X then Y.
Yeah, but I know the syllogism.
Finish.
I'm just saying that the way you connect like the premises is like what I'm questioning. So you like P1 is
Yeah.
like obviously that the will of fire.
I'm not using like a syllogism type stuff, but what I'm saying for it is that
Yeah.
the will of fire is the thing that makes you defend like all your friends and like village and whatever with your life, and then doing that makes you stronger.
I know, like that's what. Okay, like if you're not gonna respond, then we can move on. Okay.
Okay, sure.
I think that we have like reason. I think we have like reason to believe like this isn't indexed to will of fire because like the data book specifically described this feat as a feature of her mitotic regeneration and the strength that comes from that ability specifically. And then like if you want to say like it could be like also indexed to will of fire, then you could show me like reasons to believe like the will of fire would also play a part into this feat. Otherwise, I think you're just positing more like.
And she was chakra, and she released the chakra accumulated in her forehead. What is this stuff? She released the chakra accumulated from her forehead. Do you not just think that's talking about like the thing in general? What do you think the database?
It's talking about the. I can show you the entire page if you want. It's
No,
talking about her ability. Yeah, I know. It's talking about her ability, the mitotic regeneration, and it's describing all of its features. And one of the features it describes is like the healing ability, and also the ability to increase one's strength. And then the example of the healing they show in the like ladder, and then like the strength they show in like the moderate panel.
Okay. You indexing this, I don't think that would do anything for you.
Sorry, what?
I don't think it's do anything to you because like these are not like mutually exclusive things. She can gain both of these things at once.
I never said they're mutually exclusive. I said you're just like.
Yeah. So I think that even if I accept this, this could literally just be this.
Okay.
They could just happen at the same time.
Do you want to conclude?
Sure.
Okay, I forfeit the rest of my time. So like in conclusion to this argument, obviously, like you said, like you don't. It's not necessary. I'm not going to conclude in every single thing we talked about in the debate because like it's too many points for me to track, and I trust the judges tracking the other points. Like for this point specifically, I stated multiple times, and I hope you heard me. I stated multiple times that you're not necessarily unjustified in believing that it's possible or it's not mutually exclusive with your interpretation that it can be this and another thing. I just said that like you're just positing more things. It's like less parsimonious because you're just having more assumptions when you say that it's not only this thing which is sufficient to explain it, but it's also another thing which is like just based off of this piece of evidence. So like your interpretation is less likely. Go ahead.
Is this conclusion? Was that conclusions?
On this point specifically, I already said I'm not going to conclude on everything, but just on this point specifically.
If that was conclusions, you didn't say anything about parsimony or anything during the debate, but I'm not actually assuming.
I it's just like you're making more assumptions.
Okay, you didn't say that, but
Oh, I didn't say, okay.
Okay, you didn't say that, but for what you're saying that parsimony doesn't apply here, because I'm not assuming more things than you.
Unfortunately, you should have said that during the debate.
You didn't say anything about parsimony, but even then, that would still follow because I'm not
okay.
assuming anything. I mean, that would still follow. Like even if for whatever reason you brought up parsimony or whatever, my thing still mine doesn't like fall on parsimony. So we're
That-
both
It's
we're
my
not.
point. What do you mean it doesn't fall? Okay, cool. You can think it doesn't fail on parsimony. You didn't justify it, but we can judge.
I don't. Okay, well, what you said is. I mean, I don't even think you said that during the debate, but
Well,
even
they
if
were
you did say that,
technical.
that's just like wrong, and we can talk about it. But
It being wrong is
him agreeing that him agreeing that
you
it's
probably
not
should've-
mutually exclusive, I think just kind of concedes the whole thing because what both were saying could still happen at the same time. He could say that this X got stronger because of this. Like you can get stronger from two things simultaneously. I don't think it's relevant. Like Naruto can get a Will of Fire amp while unlocking KCM too. It's not really relevant. That doesn't mean that doesn't mean he wasn't amped. It just means he was. But he also got stronger like via other methods. So
Okay, you guys
also
want to judge
not
this a bit?
that also doesn't fail on assumptions. So I'm not
I
assuming
mean,
anything.
you can say it now, but like I already said, like
I mean, you didn't say that during
Okay.
the debate, but sure.
okay, like if I didn't say that, then it's fine. But like you saying whatever you're saying now isn't responsible. As I already said, I'm forfeiting the rest of my time, and we already concluded. So
Okay,
if I
that's
didn't
fine.
say that,
Well,
obviously it wouldn't go through.
do you have any
Sage,
other-
can you Sage, can you judge the debate?
Yeah. So do you guys? Because I thought you said you guys were concluding on that particular point. Am I tripping?
Yeah, he just said he wanted to conclude in the whole thing now.
Oh, okay. I thought you guys were just concluding on that particular point. Do you guys
Oh,
want to give like
I
a?
mean, we can conclude on like the whole debate, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. So
Sure.
like to mirror your opening statement, I will ask that we don't say anything that we didn't say in the debate. And then, I mean, if one of you guys does give something in there that wasn't stated in the debate, the judges will just exclude it. But yeah, whichever one of you guys wants to go first, you got 2.5
Wait,
minutes.
I just
I
want a
started.
clarifying
Go ahead.
question.
Well, he
Zekila,
started, so I'll give him the courtesy of.
um,
Sorry, go ahead.
Zekila, when you say I concede the rest of my time, what do you mean by that?
I meant like I'm done like talking. I just want the judges to give their judgment. And
Okay, so
if
yeah,
you're
that would
gonna
be the end of
request,
the debate then.
yeah, that's
So,
basically the end of the debate. Yeah.
so
If
you
want me
guys
to,
don't
like,
want to do
conclude,
conclusions then?
if you want me to conclude,
I'll
I
do
can
conclusions.
conclude, but I prefer just like hearing the judgment. I don't really like doing conclusions.
I'll
anymore.
conclude.
Well,
I
so
guess.
okay,
Well,
go.
if he's gonna
So
conclude, I'll conclude that.
okay, cool. So go ahead, Calamity.
Sure. I think I justified the point of the durability thing. I think he's from what I said, it's more like visual, demonstrable things, and he was just speaking too vacuously. Like this could be the case, but then when we actually see this is not the case. I'd agree with like all the possibilities he gave, but then contextually, that's not actually what happened. But I think he agreed that he can damage the Raikage, whatever. So yeah, that would just lead to with the Raikage, like what's it called, being more durable. So I think he was just cut off her head. We talked about the Susanoo being more. We talked about the Obito statement and how it's like just you don't need like, oh, he's super duper fast compared to before. You don't need that thing. That's why I gave the analogy. And then the Danzo statement was like brought in with, he said that you need like priors or whatever in the manga for this thing to be like the case. And then that's why I brought up the Danzo thing as more of like a Chekhov's gun, which is like everything that's stated like will be like consistent or else it'll be redundant or whatever. You can Google it, but it was like a narrative thing where like this thing's like consistent or whatever. And then we talked about the Raikage asserting himself like above Tsunade, and then he said, "Oh, we people like Kabuto who says like by the reputation or whatever." I'm like, well, from what you gave me, there's like clear indications when they're talking about reputation. And then it was the same thing for Chekhov's gun. He's like, oh, where people can talk differently or whatever. And I was like, well, if these indications are there and they're not present, and then the statement would just be like, if it wasn't true or whatever, it would just be like a lie, and it would be justified by like the Madara statement as well. And then yeah, for his scaling, I don't think he justified anything. I think that the chronology of it just kind of like debunks it. And then the what's it called? The panel right before with her leaping at him. He just kind of like went circular and said that X is the case because of X. And then he just kind of went circular. But yeah, we talked about like mental amps. Making you faster, and he didn't like respond. The whole thing was like, if the will of fire makes you stronger, no, if the will of fire makes you view everyone as family or whatever, and then and then viewing everyone as family and trying to defend them makes you stronger, then the will of fire will amp you. It's a pretty simple inference, but yeah, I think you should go like that. And then for the thing about,
I'll give you 10
yeah.
more seconds. So it's at 2.5 minutes.
Sure. The 100 ceiling's amping you. He agreed it's not mutually exclusive, so I think that my thing just goes through because she can get like amp on top of amp. Like it's not really relevant.
Gotcha. All right, Z-Killer.
Okay, so I don't want to conclude like all the Donzo thing like on his scaling. I'm just gonna hope that you guys were tracking that. Like I might give you like small reminders. Like for the Donzo thing, I said like it's like a character, it's like a self-referential statement, so he has to have a basis when he was making this statement, or else it's like not in comparison to anything else. I don't think he like efficiently established a comparison or a point of comparison, so it can't just be like a standalone statement that it's super strong and super fast, not necessarily comparison to Sasuke himself. For like the Rikage thing, like we just disagreed on what superficial is. Like I already said that it's arbitrary. There's no like official standard for what superficial or significant is, and like I don't know why he thinks that it just automatically follows that it isn't superficial because we didn't determine that. As for like the second thing that he said, like Tsunade teleporting already gave reasons for why she would want to preemptively like do it. She has incentives, like not just like allow herself to get teleported and then potentially like take more damage than she intended to because she wasn't ready or prepared. However, we only see that she does it afterwards. So like because she has incentives to do it before, but she only does it afterwards, assuming Calamity's thing is true, then it's more likely that it's not true. And what I'm saying is actually true because she wouldn't want to do those things prior if what I'm saying her incentives to exist are actually her incentives. And then as for my point, we went over like whether or not the Hokage being like in different positions implies that they helped Tsunade. So like as for A, I gave a very basic reason for why A probably didn't help, which is that A isn't close to him. He said that A could have went there and then jumped back, but I said this is inconsistent with A's like showings in the fight. He has pretty like high confidence in his speed because we see every single time he attacks Madara, he doesn't like disengage or like jump back to like prepare himself from any potential counterattack. He's pretty confident in the fact that he can dodge any counterattack. And then for all the other people, I give logical reasons for why we would expect to see environmental damage because of the nature of their abilities. He also didn't track that. And then for the final point that we were talking about, like her being amped and like that being a mental nerf or like a mental amp or just like it being indexed like her ability, as I said, like the statement itself suffices to explain what like her getting this random amp is due to, and you saying that it's not just this but also something else is just adding more assumptions. It's just like less parsimonious, and that was my response to that. He didn't respond to that. So obviously it not being mutually exclusive doesn't mean that we have equal interpretations, and I explained that very clearly in the debate. Do you want to give your judgment now?
Yeah. Okay. So here's what we're gonna do. I'm going to pause this timer. I'm gonna server deafen everybody, and then I'm going to I'm gonna mute our mics and stuff on Streamlabs, so the audience won't be able to hear. So for anybody in the audience, feel free to chat amongst yourselves in the chat. Give your verdict if you want to. But Acolyte and Steven, if you guys want to server mute everybody or server deafen,
I want to do a stream poll.
say that again.
So I want to do it like on the
Yeah, I'll just do
YouTube
I'll do a stream poll. So while I set that up, will you server deafen everybody, and then whenever everybody's deafened, I'll go ahead and do that.
I'll be on it. Kiyoshi's already self-deafened, so
Why don't we scoot down to a
Well, the issue is
if he's
I mean it's not like a huge issue, but like the icons and stuff will disappear if I move to a different chat. So
okay.
let me. I'm just gonna make this poll really quick, so we can see what the audience thinks if they were tracking.
I think that was a really good debate.
I think it was too. I think it was super close. This is why I want to do it this way as opposed to how we did it the first time. So here, give me 1 second. Is everybody server deafened?
Yeah, everyone's server deafened apart from me. You
Are we muted on your stream?
1 second. Everybody's server deafened. Incredible. So I'm going to mute up. So audience, make sure you guys vote, and then we will be right back.
because I'm on PC, so it's
Back. All right, so we'll do it the same way as last time. I'll let you guys go first, and then I'll give my verdict. The audience has given their verdict. That has not swayed our opinion.
Can
But
you unmute us
you
on your
guys,
stream?
yes, yeah, we were
Okay,
unmuted
good,
on the
good.
stream. Yeah.
okay. So
Are we
yeah,
unmuted? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you guys are good.
You're both unmuted now. So my verdict is that Calamity won because he's the only one who had connected scaling to the actual fight. To Z-Killer, even if he won some of his points, or even if he won his point, was still never connected this feat to Sasuke in any way. He never did a connected scale, so we never got like a scale to why this should bring Tsunade to win. And that's really all there is to it. Fewer Calamity's points went through, meaning that Sasuke, according to the debate, should have an advantage in the fight. That wasn't established for Tsunade.
Acolyte.
Okay. I think I was more convinced by Calamity scalings than Steven was, but even if I wasn't, I would still agree with Steven in that as long as Calamity got some points through when it came to the affirmative side and Zekil's side, it not once said how this connects back to Sasuke versus Tsunade. Just maybe just assumed that we would think Madara is impressive, but that would be using external knowledge, like, oh, I think Madara is at this level, so that should be above Sasuke at that point. But he
even
never
the statement
said
on
anything close to
KCM2.
that during the debate. So to
Yeah,
me, it would be
even the
unfair to give
statement on
that to him. So I'm gonna
KCM2
vote
level.
for Calamity.
Yeah, even the statement on KCM2 level for if this scale went through, without outside knowledge, we don't know what KCM2 level is. So there was nothing connecting it.
Yeah, I'm in agreement as well for the exact same reasons. So Calamity, the one point that, because I actually think that Z-Killer had more total points that went through, but again, it didn't connect back to the actual fight, because even if we assume that he got Tsunade to KCM2 level, which I believe that what was agreed upon in the debate was effectively like, I think Calamity said, well, if you're saying that, then that just means that like she would be KCM2 level, which is absurd. And then whenever we got to later on, whenever that point cleared, like that would establish that she's KCM2 level. However, that was never connected back to Sasuke. So even though we as the audience know KCM2 Naruto is beating up 5 Kage-Summit Sasuke, because it was never connected, it wouldn't be a relevant point in terms of deciding who the winner is. So even though Z-Killer did clear more points, in my opinion, I think that and I think both competitors did really well on the negation and then also pressed each other on the assertion. But because the only relevant point that went through in terms of what would actually affect the fight is that Sasuke should be able to meaningfully damage Tsunade, that is where that's the only thing that really matters. So that gives him the win, in my opinion. But I mean, great debate on both sides. I think you guys did a good job. I was really surprised that Calamity never brought up the fact that that's a Madara wood clone, and that Madara right after that stabs Tsunade through the ground.
I was expecting that.
No, 100%.
I was expecting that, bro. He just
I didn't think that mattered.
he didn't say anything, bro.
No,
Yeah.
I knew it like that,
I
but I
actually
didn't
don't think
care.
that. I don't think that's a wood clone, though.
I was surprised you
I didn't think
just
that mattered at all. So
Yeah, I mean, it's so
I thought
what?
you were going to question when is the Hokage not Will of Fire
Yeah, yeah.
what?
Well, I was gonna say that if he like, because I asked him like, okay, what is the will of fire, and then can you describe like how one has like possesses the will of fire? But he
Everyone
didn't
has it.
actually like go to like prove anything about the will of fire. He just kind of like dropped that.
Wait,
Yeah.
I mean,
I just have a question
That's
because I'm
irrelevant.
curious. So
Wait.
you think that like he won
Whoa.
because he connected his scaling? Does that mean you think he successfully connected his scaling, or he just presented a hypothesis
I think
where it's
I
possible?
agree with that. I don't think the other do though.
I think okay.
Oh no, I think you successfully connected it. Yeah.
I think the only thing
In the sense
I
that
don't
like he
think- I
proved
don't
all
think
the
it's
premises
success-
that to lead
okay.
to the conclusion.
Okay,
Well,
so
it was more so
thing
like
that
I think that well,
don't
really
think-
quick, I think that the
I'm-
points
I'm
the point.
interested
Well,
in-
Stephen, hold on 1 second. So the point he was trying to make is essentially Sasuke is able to damage the Raikage. The Raikage, due to like the light speed thing, not having to use mitotic regeneration, should be more durable than Tsunade. Therefore, Sasuke should be able to damage Tsunade meaningfully.
Yeah, I didn't really contend the durability point, but like the speed
Yeah,
point.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that was part of it. Is like I don't think that you. I imagine that whenever you went into it, you anticipated connecting your scaling at the end, which is why
Yeah, I
whenever,
wanted to, but
yeah.
so you think
But
the only
that's
thing he
why,
connected was the AP?
yeah, I
Yeah.
think like that. But that the problem is like that's the only thing that went through in the debate that actually like connected to these characters. So like I said, I do think that you cleared more points. I think there were actually more points made in your side of the scale, but you cleared more points. But basically, what we got to is Tsunade is briefly KCM2 level, but then never connected KCM2 Naruto
That's
to
an
five
unfortunate. I
Kageso
forgot to
Sasuke.
connect my scaling.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
I
so
think
yeah,
that was the biggest issue in my
Crazy.
opinion.
Ezekiel, why do you think we were like, all like, are you sure when you
Yeah.
said you wanted to forfeit your time?
Well, I just like I think like I just anticipated that everything I said was sufficient, even if what I said wasn't sufficient. I know for a fact what he said wasn't true or didn't go through.
Okay,
Whoa.
so
Well,
for
if
me,
It just
like
comes down to like
I'll give him what I thought Calamity offered. I got that. I agreed with. Well, I didn't agree with, but I thought the way that to the substantial point that Calamity didn't even prove that it would be substantial damage.
It was just
But
damage,
like
yeah.
any damage at all compared to someone who, like, for all we know, like without outside knowledge, for all we know, just scales to X character without connection to Y. It was like I can't even say that Ezekiel said that Tsunade could damage Sasuke, so I was like, oh, that is.
that's
It has to be
unfortunate. I
both.
forgot to do
Yeah,
that.
that dude,
am I
that's
tripping?
like, bro,
But
that's why
like
whenever you were like, yeah, I forfeit the rest of my time, I was like, what is he doing?
yeah. So wait, am I tripping? Like both debates today, we had an affirmative side agree that their point is equal to the others, which
Yeah,
just gives the judges no
Yeah.
reason to decide on their affirmative.
yes, yeah, both times.
Oh,
Yeah.
But I mean, it was a good debate, and I will say, like, this is again, it's not something that the audience that we factored in, but as of now, whenever I looked at it earlier, it was directly 50-50. But I'm looking at it now, and it's 62-38 in Calamity's favor. I don't know if they're using the same rationalization that we are, or if some people voted after we gave our conclusions. But yeah, so I mean, I feel like I want to have faith in the listeners. I feel like maybe they saw the same thing that we did. But yeah, I mean, it was a really entertaining debate. I liked it a lot. I feel like the points were really solid, and you guys' argumentation was really good. It literally just came down to like one person showcased that their character has an advantage over the opponent's character, and the other person showcased that their character has scaling, but not necessarily that scaling connects to the opponent. So,
Oh, a good debate, man.
yeah, really good debate. I really enjoyed
Can
it.
I
But
leave now?
yeah, you
Let's
guys are good.
go.
Okay.
But I'll update the bracket tonight. And by the way, Z Killer, so well, he's gone. I'll let him know. But we do have a losers bracket, so we'll basically seed well, I'll randomize those matchups for like the loser side of things so that people can, get their seeding or whatever, and then we'll go from there. But yeah, I think it was a good debate. I feel like I really enjoyed it. I hope that the audience enjoyed it. But do you guys have anything else to add before we head out of here?
I don't remember. I know Calamity bring up the Marius calling Tsunade strong, but did he ever bring up Mario calling Rakage fast?
Yes,
Yeah.
Yeah,
he
yeah.
brought up that.
Okay,
brought
that would
up
also
that,
connect back to his scaling, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, he brought that up on the negation, but it would connect back to his scaling. Yeah.
Yep.
But Z Killer's argument against that was, I think it was that Tsunade doesn't have to be the same speed the entire fight. She
Yeah.
can like be pacing herself. So
Yeah, that was basically the gist of that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Calamity won the Sasuke outspeed in the Raikage point.
Yeah.
But wasn't. I think it was because it was rushed at the very end, but I wasn't like I don't think he got through the Raikage being faster than Tsunade point, but that was like 2 minutes of their overall time that they had left.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I think if anyone reviews the Calamity segment, they'll come with some reason to like even like a modicum of a reason. I mean by some reason, like just a modicum of reason to put Sasuke over Tsunade. But just in the affirmative of Zeke, he did not do that at all.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it was disappointing when he said, "Oh, I forfeit the rest of my time," because I was like, "Bro, you've not connected the scaling yet." And
You know what's kind of funny about
It
like
was
this about the debates today? Like, because I had in my mind who I thought would win each one, just based on like conversations that I've had with people, and like